Opening line. Did you know that one of the greatest spiritual secrets, hidden for centuries, can unlock a power so profound it's said to change your consciousness forever? Today we reveal how Christ consciousness and the activation of the pineal gland could be the key to awakening this hidden power within you. But what does the Bible really mean when it says Christ is in you? Is this simply a metaphor, or could it point to a much deeper truth? And how can you activate this ancient spiritual secret, a secret so powerful it could help you transcend the limits of physical reality? Throughout history, many ancient cultures have shared a profound truth. Knowledge of the inner workings of our consciousness is the key to unlocking our true potential. But this wisdom wasn't always available to the public. In fact, it was intentionally concealed for centuries, passed down only to those deemed ready to receive it. Why? The ancient world understood something we're only beginning to comprehend today: that spiritual knowledge, when misused or misunderstood, can be dangerous. It has the power to both uplift and shatter the mind. So to protect this sacred knowledge, it was hidden in plain sight. The teachings were encoded in sacred texts, myths, parables, and even in the way we understand the human body. These hidden messages were carefully veiled, waiting for the right moment when humanity would be ready to uncover them. Many of these teachings exist in spiritual traditions around the world, from Eastern philosophies like Hinduism and Buddhism to Western mysticism, and even in the Bible itself. And no matter where you look, there's a consistent thread running through these systems: the idea that there is a higher consciousness or a divine presence within each of us. In the Christian tradition, this is often referred to as Christ consciousness, a state of divine awareness that connects us with the very essence of life itself. Now you might be wondering, what does all this have to do with the pineal gland? The answer lies in the belief that the pineal gland is the gateway to this higher consciousness. It's said that within this small pine cone-shaped organ located in the center of your brain lies the potential for spiritual awakening. For centuries, mystics and spiritual seekers have revered the pineal gland as the third eye, the point where the physical and spiritual realms meet. The ancients knew something that we're just beginning to explore. The activation of this gland could potentially unlock abilities and understanding that transcend the limits of our physical bodies. This hidden knowledge, though, isn't just some abstract concept. It holds the answers to some of life's greatest mysteries about life, death, and everything in between. It's the key to understanding the nature of your existence, your purpose, and your connection to the universe. Are you ready to uncover this knowledge? So what exactly is Christ consciousness? Many people think it's simply a religious concept, reserved for the pages of the Bible or the teachings of Jesus. But it's much deeper than that. Christ consciousness is an internal process, a state of being that transcends the outer world. It's a shift in awareness where you move beyond the physical and tap into the divine aspect of yourself. It's about awakening the higher potential within you, recognizing the sacred presence that exists not outside, but within. This awakening is what many refer to as Christ consciousness. It's not about following a person, it's about embodying a divine principle. Christ consciousness is the realization that the divine is not something external that we need to seek. It is already within us, waiting to be activated. It's about reaching a state of spiritual enlightenment, where you are in harmony with the divine flow of the universe. Now let's connect this idea to something that could unlock this inner power. You might be surprised to learn that this tiny pea-sized gland located deep within your brain is often referred to as the third eye. For centuries, this organ has been considered the gateway to higher consciousness. It's said that when the pineal gland is activated, it opens you up to spiritual insights, deeper understanding, and even mystical experiences. In ancient traditions, it's believed that the pineal gland is directly linked to Christ consciousness, acting as the bridge between the physical body and higher spiritual realms. But here's where things get even more fascinating. The Bible, filled with symbolism and hidden truths, contains teachings that hint at this process of internal transformation. The phrase "Christ is in you" isn't just a statement of faith, it's a call to awaken your own divine consciousness, to realize that the Christ energy lives within your body. You don't have to look for it outside, It's already there, waiting for you to activate it. But there's more. How can you actually activate this Christ consciousness within? What role does the sacred fluid in your body play in this process? Keep watching because we're about to explore the incredible journey this divine energy takes through your body and how you can harness it to awaken your true potential. The anatomy of spiritual activation. Let's dive deeper into the fascinating process of spiritual activation. To fully understand how Christ consciousness works within you, we need to look at the anatomy of the human body. There's a hidden system at play that many people are unaware of: the claustrum, a small area of the brain located deep within the skull. From the claustrum, a secretion known as spinal brain fluid is released. This fluid, also called Christos in ancient texts, is key to our spiritual awakening. The fluid is not just any substance, it's the carrier of divine energy. When this sacred fluid is released from the brain, it travels down the spinal cord, slowly making its way through various areas of the body, all the way to the sacral plexus. Now, why is this journey so significant? The path this fluid takes through the spinal cord and its eventual destination in the sacral plexus mirrors something much greater: the journey of spiritual awakening. It's like the symbolic story of heaven on earth. Just as Christ's life and resurrection represent a spiritual journey from death to rebirth, this fluid's descent and eventual rise through the body symbolize the awakening of your divine self. Here's something that might surprise you. Ever wondered why Santa Claus is said to travel down the chimney? You've likely heard this story many times as a child, but did you know that this legend, just like the journey of the sacred fluid, holds a hidden message about your spiritual growth? Santa Claus in many ways is symbolic of the energy traveling down the spinal column, reaching its lowest point before beginning its journey back up to the top, just like how the Christos fluid, or holy oil, works in the body. It's a powerful metaphor that aligns perfectly with spiritual principles. This fluid's journey isn't just a biological process. It's a key part of the spiritual transformation that takes place within us. And when we understand how the sacred energy moves through the body, we can begin to grasp the true meaning of spiritual elevation and awakening. Christ consciousness and the moon cycle. Now let's explore an interesting connection that has been hidden in plain sight for centuries: the relationship between the moon and the creation of the spiritual seed. This seed is often referred to as the Christ seed, and it is said to be born within us each month. You may already know that the moon has a significant impact on the rhythms of life, on the tides, on the growth cycles of plants, and even on human emotions. But what many don't realize is that the moon also plays a pivotal role in the creation and activation of this spiritual seed within your body. Each month, when the moon aligns with the position the sun was in at your birth, a unique energy is activated. This timing creates the perfect conditions for the seed, what could be described as your Christ seed, to begin its growth. But where does this seed reside within the body? The solar plexus, known as Bethlehem in ancient texts, is the key area. Just like Bethlehem was the birthplace of Christ in the biblical story, the solar plexus serves as the birthplace of this divine energy within you. It's here, in this energetic center located just above the sacral plexus, that the spiritual seed is nurtured and begins to germinate. The solar plexus is the center of personal power and spiritual transformation, where the Christ energy is said to be stored, ready to rise up and awaken your higher consciousness. This energy begins its journey as the moon's cycle aligns with your birth, creating the conditions for it to grow. As the spiritual seed reaches its peak, the body becomes a vessel of divine transformation. The moon's cycles are more than just a celestial pattern. They are the timing mechanisms that dictate when this Christ energy will be activated within you. But here's the real question: how does the seed grow within you? And what happens when it reaches its final destination? The optic thalamus, the center of your consciousness. The answers to these questions are rooted in ancient practices and wisdom. Practices that may seem unbelievable at first, but hold the power to transform your life in ways you could never imagine. The secret to activating the oil of Christ. Now that we understand the journey of the spiritual seed and the role of the moon, let's take a closer look at the most critical part of this transformation: the oil of Christ. This sacred oil, often referred to as holy oil or Christos, begins its journey in the sacral plexus. The sacral plexus, located at the base of your spine, is a vital energy center within the body. Much like the roots of a tree, the oil starts here, slowly traveling up through the spinal cord, navigating its way towards the head. This journey isn't just a physical one, it's deeply symbolic. As the oil rises, it mirrors the path of spiritual ascension. In ancient texts, this process aligns with the story of Christ's crucifixion, symbolizing the soul's journey through life, death, and rebirth. Just as Christ is said to have been crucified at age 33, the oil's journey through the body mirrors this age, a powerful age in spiritual traditions. At 33, the body reaches its highest potential for transformation, and this is exactly when the oil reaches its peak. As the oil ascends through the spinal cord, it follows the path of two essential energies, Ida and Pingala. These energies represent the masculine and feminine forces within us, both of which are necessary for spiritual harmony and growth. Ida, associated with the left side of the body, represents the moon, coolness, and the magnetic force. Pingala, associated with the right side, represents the sun, warmth, and the electric force. These two energies dance together, rising along the spine through the nadi channels of the body, creating a balance that is essential for awakening Christ consciousness. But here's where things get really interesting. To activate the oil of Christ and experience true spiritual awakening, it's not enough to simply let the oil rise. You must elevate it with intention and focus. This is where spiritual practices like meditation, deep breathing, and mindful living come into play. These practices act as tools that assist in the ascension of the oil, ensuring it reaches its destination. The pineal gland, often referred to as the third eye. This gland, located deep within your brain, is the gateway to higher consciousness, where the divine potential within you becomes fully awakened. But the journey doesn't end there. What happens when this sacred fluid crosses the vagus nerve and reaches the top of the head? What is the significance of this final step in the process? To understand this, we need to dive deeper into the ancient practices that reveal the final stage of awakening, a stage that could radically change the way you experience reality. The crucifixion and spiritual rebirth. Now let's explore one of the most pivotal moments in this spiritual journey, the crossing of the vagus nerve. This is the point in the body where the sacred oil, having risen from the base of your spine, now encounters a powerful transition, a moment of profound spiritual significance. In ancient teachings, this transition is symbolized as the crucifixion. Just as Christ underwent crucifixion to transcend the limits of human existence, the crossing of the vagus nerve represents a death to the old self and an opening to the higher divine self. It's the moment when physical consciousness, bound to the material world, gives way to spiritual consciousness, a state of awareness that transcends the limitations of the body. When the oil crosses the vagus nerve, it reaches the threshold between physical and spiritual realms. This is where the true transformation begins. It's as if the old you, the version tied to earthly desires and limited understanding, is crucified, released from its constraints. What follows is a rebirth of your consciousness. As the oil ascends and continues its journey towards the pineal gland, the transformation becomes clearer. It's not just a change in perception, it's a spiritual rebirth, an awakening to your divine nature. This process symbolizes the ultimate shift in your consciousness. The same way Christ's death on the cross paved the way for resurrection and renewal, the crossing of the vagus nerve signifies the death of your old self, replaced by the new, awakened you. It's the moment when you stop identifying solely with your body and begin to identify with the divine consciousness that resides within you. This awakening allows you to see the world in a new light, no longer through the lens of limitations, but through the lens of higher understanding. The ascension of this sacred fluid is not just a biological process, it's a spiritual one that redefines your reality. It's the activation of Christ consciousness within your very being, unlocking abilities and insights that have remained dormant until now. But here's the truth. By mastering this practice, you can undergo a transformation that not only allows you to transcend the physical, but also achieve true enlightenment. You can experience a life of higher awareness, where you move beyond the constraints of ego and connect with the divine energy within. However, there's one secret that could make all the difference in this process. One key to activating this rebirth fully. Stick around, because this secret is something ancient, powerful, and often overlooked. The Christ seed, the third eye, and clairvoyance. Now we arrive at the final and most profound stage in this transformation, the activation of the pineal gland, the seat of spiritual enlightenment and higher consciousness. Once the sacred oil has ascended through the body, reaching the pineal gland, it triggers a process that has been described for centuries as the opening of the third eye. The pineal gland, often called the third eye by spiritual traditions, is the center of higher perception and intuition. It's where the divine meets the physical, where our consciousness expands beyond the limits of the material world. This activation is not just a physiological process, it's a profound spiritual event. As the oil reaches the pineal gland, it connects with the optic thalamus, the light of the world, as it's often called in ancient texts. This connection is powerful because the optic thalamus is directly tied to our perception of reality. It's where the body processes sensory input and transforms it into conscious experience. By activating the pineal gland and its connection to the optic thalamus, you begin to see the world in a completely different way, not just with your eyes, but with your higher mind. As this energy rises, it awakens dormant brain cells, unlocking the potential for clairvoyance and higher spiritual vision. Clairvoyance, the ability to perceive things beyond the ordinary, is the natural result of this awakening. When the pineal gland is fully activated, it allows you to access a deeper level of awareness, one that transcends the limits of the physical senses. This spiritual sight gives you the ability to perceive the unseen, to understand the true nature of reality, and to tap into the wisdom of the universe itself. The potential benefits of this transformation are profound. Once activated, this energy can bring clarity, insight, and healing into your life. It can help you navigate challenges with a new sense of wisdom and understanding. You'll find yourself more connected to your intuition, able to make decisions with confidence, and able to heal not only your mind but your body as well. The doors to spiritual growth and enlightenment will open, offering you a deeper connection to the divine. But there's a crucial step to ensure success in this process, something that many overlook. If you want to fully activate your higher consciousness and unlock the power of the Christ seed within, there's one practice that you must master. This practice is the key to making sure your transformation is complete and lasting. Keep watching, because the next step is vital to making this shift a reality. Practices to preserve and elevate the Christ seed. Now that you've learned how to activate the Christ seed and unlock higher consciousness, it's important to understand how to preserve and elevate the sacred energy. Just like a precious resource, the Christ consciousness, often symbolized by the sacred oil, needs to be nurtured and protected. To keep the energy flowing and to allow it to continue rising, you must practice certain disciplines. One of the most powerful practices for preserving this sacred energy is meditation. Meditation allows you to quiet the mind, connect with your higher self, and create a channel for the sacred oil to ascend. It helps you maintain control over your thoughts and emotions, ensuring that the energy remains focused and clear. Through regular meditation, you create a space for spiritual growth where the oil can rise freely without obstruction. Breathing techniques also play a vital role in preserving this sacred energy. By learning how to breathe deeply and mindfully, you increase the flow of oxygen and vital energy throughout the body. This helps sustain the oil and elevate it further as it travels through the spinal cord and up to the pineal gland. Deep conscious breathing helps activate the higher centers of the brain, bringing clarity and spiritual insight. Another essential practice for preserving Christ consciousness is maintaining a clean diet. The food you consume directly affects the energy within your body. When you nourish yourself with wholesome living foods, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, you provide your body with the vital nutrients it needs to sustain high levels of energy and spiritual vitality. Avoiding processed foods, excess sugar, and unhealthy fats is essential, as these can create blockages in your system and prevent the oil from rising. However, just as there are practices that elevate and preserve this sacred energy, there are also habits that can harm the fluid. Unhealthy habits such as excessive drinking, Poor eating habits and indulging in excess can deplete your vital energy. Negative emotions like anger, fear, and stress can create blockages in the flow of the oil, causing it to stagnate or even descend. Engaging in activities that drain your energy, whether it's negative relationships, overindulgence, or mindless distractions, can severely hinder your spiritual progress. This is why living in harmony with these teachings is so important. It's not just about spiritual practices in isolation. It's about aligning every aspect of your life with the higher consciousness you are awakening. By balancing your body, mind, and spirit, you create an environment that supports the continuous rise of the sacred oil and the flourishing of Christ consciousness. But here's the truth. What happens when you break these sacred practices? The answer might shock you. These simple yet powerful habits have the potential to either elevate you to a higher state of being or hold you back from achieving the full transformation. The consequences of neglecting these practices go far beyond just spiritual stagnation. It can even affect your physical well-being. Conclusion and call to action, 1700 to 1800. As we wrap up, remember that true enlightenment comes from within. It's not about seeking outside validation, but activating the divine energy inside you, Christ consciousness. By awakening your pineal gland and rising the Christ seed, you can access higher awareness and transcend the limits of the physical world. Through practices like meditation, mindful breathing, and a healthy lifestyle, you can preserve and elevate this energy within. The power to awaken your higher self is already in you. How will you use it to transform your life? Now, I'd love to hear from you. What practices will you try to activate Christ consciousness? Share in the comments below, and let's keep this journey going. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content on spiritual awakening. The journey doesn't end here.